Hey y'all, welcome back to At the Table podcast, where we encourage growing, learning, and connecting as we're all trying to figure out this thing called adulting. You press play. So grab a snack, pull up a seat, because we are now officially at the table. How are you guys? Can you guys believe it that April starts tomorrow or a few days from now? How did we already get here? I have no idea. But before we get into all of that, let's do a little life update. I am still currently at my undisclosed location. But if you follow me on Instagram, you know exactly where I am. But podcast seems a little forever for me. Podcast seems a little and I just no. No, I feel like anyone can come up and bring this up to me. It's a little too permanent. Too permanent for me. So it's not that I'm necessarily trying to hide where I am, but it's just too permanent. I also would like to say thank you to everyone who listened to the hot mess that last week's episode was. I like organic content. I like when people just come as themselves and we're able to follow people through mundane things, because life is just a lot more fun that way when you have someone to bring along with you, and also when you're able to vicariously experience what another person is experiencing through whatever method that is. So I did enjoy doing it for you guys and having it up as a part of this family and this community, and kind of the tone for this family and this community. But it was a mess. We'll see though. I did really like it, so maybe I'll continue to do maybe drive with me, where I set up the mic and I kind of drive. And you guys can just follow my thoughts through driving if I have a long drive or whatever, however it looks like. But thank you guys for listening. Did you guys notice? I'm being consistent. Yeah. I'm trying to upload every Friday. I kind of want Friday uploads to be my thing. And I like that also because I have a whole week to fish through content or fish through life experiences to come on here and be able to tell you guys. So I like that. And can you believe it? We are now officially at the end of first quarter, or first quarter ends March 31st, and I'm currently recording this March 30th, but by the time this comes out, it should probably be Friday. So at that point, yes, we would officially have gone through the whole first quarter. And isn't that kind of crazy? Time goes by so quickly, because I could have sworn that January 1st was last week. Was it not? You can't even tell me it wasn't. Besides the point, I think that here we are. We are sitting in the end of first quarter. We are about to go into April. I feel like this April is when the year really starts happening. I don't know why, but April is this push into it. The new year is not new anymore, and it's kind of going into summertime, June, July, and then pretty much by August the year is over. But it just feels like the beginning of a new season. It really just gives the beginning of the year. And I guess it's because the fun, April is right before all of the fun happens in the year, which is obviously summer. So April is kind of that prelude. And then May comes, and then by May you're already in summer, school's out, it's hot, June is here, July is coming. So I'm really excited that we are in April, and that is also why we're doing this podcast today. So this podcast is going to kind of be the end of first quarter report card kind of. We're going to set the intentions. We're going to look back on the first quarter and this whole year up until today and kind of reevaluate. And then we're also going to look towards the rest of the year to kind of see what we want to change. How are y'all feeling? Y'all are good? Okay. So yeah. So a very important question I do have to ask you guys is, what have you been snacking on? What is on the top of your mind? What's happening? I'm not sure if I talked about this author, and I'm going to butcher his name, so I'm so even scared of saying it. But his name is Harakumi Murakami. If you want to know who I'm talking about, just look up the book. Oh, what I think about when I talk about running, and yes, he is the author of that book, and I have really been like binging all of his content. He writes books, you guys, but I have just been binging all of his books. I think he is so wise. He's a Japanese writer, so the way he writes is completely different. I feel like he gets me, you guys. Like, I've kind of known, or I feel like I'm different, but everybody of course feels they're different, but I think there's something different when you kind of come into yourself and you realize, yeah, the way I kind of think, the way I rationale, the things that motivate me is kind of different from everybody else, and you know, like, how you work as opposed to everybody else, and you don't consistently try to compare yourself to other people and their methods they use. When you know your own method, I feel like that is when you're able to be the strongest in everything you do. But even besides that, right, like, I'm starting to know myself, and I feel like he is me and I am him, and he just reminds me so much of myself, and I've never connected to another author the way that I've connected to him. So it really is like, oh my gosh, it's really good to read. It feels good hearing from someone who I think I deeply resonate so much to, that is extremely successful in his endeavors, and even just the small advice that he gives. Like, for example, what I think about when I think about running, what I talk about when I talk about running. He talks about how for him, he's never been a competitive person, but for him, it was always like his biggest competition that was successful was himself. Well, his biggest force of competition that would yield success was himself. So his own benchmark, he thrived when his own benchmark was his previous self. And as someone who isn't necessarily like extremely competitive, or that's not necessarily money hungry, I do want to be successful, but I'm not necessarily like, it's not all about money for me. I like that idea. I like that the idea is for me to be better today than I was yesterday. And personally, I feel like I can do that. But when I'm looking at Johnny, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Johnny is doing all of these things and I'm not. I feel like as a person, just Fikayo, right? It sometimes it gets too overwhelming for me. So, like, being able to just hear how he conducts his life and how he rationalizes things that happen to and around him just make so much sense to me. And there some of them are thoughts and ideas that I've already thought about, or I already had been sitting in, but to be able to hear an older, wiser person from a different culture talk about these things, and then bring an element of like the ideas are more advanced than the ones that my 22-year-old brain is able to come up with. It's reaffirming that, one, I am on the right path of whatever I'm going through, and also like I am learning, and the way that I am learning is good. It just reaffirmed that like I'm okay. I'm perfectly okay. So he has been what has been on my heart. Like, he has been what I've been snacking on, and I really, really love him so much. And I could recommend him to the end of the world. He's amazing. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much it. What have you been snacking on? So that's done. Let's go into our segment for today. Let's go into what we're here to talk about, and that is our March recap, and also like first quarter report card. And I'm kind of gonna do this and I'm in a way that I'm asking you guys, but also some parts of it I'll be answering as well, so that as I'm answering, you too, you can be thinking. And then also, like, if you hear something that I say that you like or you resonate with, or I don't know, like you didn't think of the way that I thought and that I'm thinking of it, we'll be able to meet in that place, I guess. I hope that made sense, because I lost my train of thought midway that sentence. So I hope the end of that sentence made sense. Anyway, so I'm just going to go through, I think, what is it, like 6 categories, and that's pretty much it. And then maybe I'll throw some things in at the end. But that's pretty much it. And then we can all go home. All right, so the first category I'm going to go through are personal wins. So what were some personal wins that you had this year so far, this month so far? Like, what did you do consistently? Where did you thrive? Where were you proud of yourself? Like, what are things that you did these last few months that you didn't think you were going to be able to do? So for me, coming into 2023, I really wanted to make sure I did things that I was proud of, because in 2022, I felt like I came out of 2022 without any accomplishments that I personally was proud of. Now, I'm sure you guys can look and be like, Fikayo, you did this and that and that. But there's a different type of pride, or there's a different kind of, like, how do I explain this? There's a different kind of feeling, of when you know that you did something and you're able to bring it into another year and into another season, like, and that it's good. I didn't really leave 2022 with that kind of feeling. So, where my accomplishments are personal to me, I didn't really leave 2023 with that kind of feeling. So, I really wanted to make sure that this year I really intentionally did things that would make me proud of, and did things that I would be able to see the fruit of in 2024. And one of those things that I'm really, really proud of myself of doing is staying consistent in running. This was a huge thing for me. I have never been an athlete. I've never been one that you would describe as an athlete. I don't even like the thought of it. It almost even makes me nauseous. But the fact that I have been able to consistently run every morning, and even aside from, I think we've talked about this over and over and over again in this podcast, but even aside from just the physical part of running, the Fikayo, get your ass up and go and do this 10-minute jog, like that discipline is what I'm really, really proud of. The fact that I've been able to tell myself, like, do this thing, and I do it. Like, my brain thinks that I want to do something, and then the fact that I actually do the thing, like, it's a muscle in the brain, like knowing that you should do something and then actually doing it. Whereas there is no immediate gain, there is no immediate reward, but you do it anyway. It's a muscle that I knew that I had to exercise this year, because at the end of the day, I feel like that muscle is what can change your life. Doing something that you don't see the immediate results of, but going every single day in hopes of the future results. Like, it's beyond me. It's amazing. So I'm really, really proud that I did that. Journaling, again, I'm so proud I'm journaling. I'm really, really happy. And journaling is just something to me that I want to do for myself. Other people don't have to see the benefits. It doesn't matter to other people. But as far as I journal and I'm able to go through something and process whatever I'm going through, good or bad or in between, doesn't matter. Being able to do that, being able to think introspectively, being able to write all of my thoughts down so that one day I can go back, or maybe my children can go back and read what I wrote, like, that in of itself makes me so happy. And the fact that I'm consistent with it as well, because it's another thing. It's one of those things that it doesn't directly pay you. It doesn't directly like give you any type of reward, but it's something that I continue to show up to. I like that. Another thing is like my morning routines. I've been able to stick to a good, solid morning routine. And I really like my morning routine as well. And this morning routine really, really came from, because I think I mentioned it already though, because I wanted to live a life of structure. I still do. I want to live a life of structure. I just don't want to wake up and not know what I'm doing, at least for the first half. Like, I everything else in between, I think I mentioned I did like a hamburger analogy. Everything in between my day, anything can happen then, right? But at least the beginning and the end should be the same thing. It should be bread. I should know what I'm doing to start my day, and I should know what I'm doing to end my day. And because at the end of the day, I am not a mother, nor am I a wife, I should be able to allow myself that morning time and that night time completely for me. Throughout the whole day, everybody else can need whatever they need from me. Job can need whatever they need, family can need whatever they need, friends can need whatever they need, church can need whatever they need from me. But the morning and the night, that's Fikayo's time to need whatever time she needs for Fikayo. So I'm happy that I was able to keep that intact and not mess with my morning and night routine. Another personal win for me this year was I've cleared all of my credit cards. So yes, I'm really proud of that. Oh my goodness. And it's kind of just like a big girl win. And I know it's like, what? But I like how lately I have been really on top of my whole financial situations. I am not a financial advisor. So if I ever give you people advice, financial advice, don't take it so before I get sued, I beg. But I have read a lot of books. I have read Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's not really that good. Everybody like really, really likes it, but it doesn't give you like great financial advice. Kind of just gives you like a principle or like a goal. But like, anyway, I've read books. I've listened to podcasts. I've listened to a lot of podcasts. I watch YouTube videos on finances. The fact that I was able to clear my credit card, like that was definitely a goal. All my credit cards down to 0. That was definitely a goal. Again, I am not a financial advisor. Don't listen to me. But there's this YouTuber, Caleb something, and he says that not having an emergency fund is an emergency. So I'm really trying to make sure that I have a solid emergency fund set by the end of the year. And yeah, if I can have a solid emergency fund set, like I will be so proud of myself. Another thing that I consider as a personal win is I'm taking this your class right now. So before I was kind of like anxious and sad and scared because I was like, I'm not doing anything to develop myself in my career as I'm taking this gap year, I guess. So taking this class, first off, my teacher is amazing. He is amazing. If you want to take an Azure class, let me know, and then I'll tell you where to go. But my teacher, he is phenomenal, and he 5 stars. So like I'm really learning something from him, and it's also like very personal. So he checks up, he makes sure that we're good. If I have any questions, he's basically available 24/7. He is phenomenal, and he makes the concepts really, really easy to understand. So I'm happy that I'm doing this class. I don't feel idle in my career, and even in that, I'm exploring other things, other ventures. I'm looking into AI, and I want to see if like I will like that realm of IT. But that's a conversation maybe one day. If you guys want to go more into, we can. Another personal win for me is I have listened and read almost 10 books this year. If not 10, it's more than 10. So it's not even almost. It's like I've read or listened to 10 or more books this year. And I really like that. I really am proud of myself for that, because it means that I'm expanding my brain and I'm expanding my knowledge and my wisdom. It also does mean that everything that I listen to, for the most part, almost 80% of what I listen to and what I'm consuming is wisdom, or it's advice, or it's something in a book that will grow me personally. But one of the reasons why I think that religious people or whatever, they tell you not to listen to secular music is also because it doesn't edify you, it doesn't grow you. And I am at a point where I don't care about secular music, but I don't listen to it anymore because it's not growing me. And my last personal win that I will be talking about is being consistent with podcasting. I'm really proud of myself. Even though it hasn't been every week, the fact that I'm still here, the fact that I'm still showing up, it's hard for me to do this because, again, like I am not consistent. And that was a character trait I had in 2022, but in 2023, Fikayo is consistent. So the fact that I still show up, even though I didn't do it for I didn't do it for a certain amount of time, or I didn't show up probably the week before, I'm still showing up. I'm still identifying and still calling myself a podcaster still in March. I'm very proud of myself because, you guys, do you know that I've actually tried to do podcasting before? And I've had other ones, but I didn't pass like 2 episodes or 3 episodes because it's like, I was just like, what am I doing? But the fact that I have I think this is 6 episodes down, you guys, I'm so proud of myself. So yeah, that's another personal win for me. Now we're gonna go into another segment or another part, right? And this part is, what did we learn? And I'm learning how to make Fikayo better. And that is it's a big thing for me. Like, I think I mentioned it earlier, but every single person does have like a method or a way that works the best for them, method or formula or a way that works best for them. I'm happy because I feel like Fikayo is figuring out her method, her way. And it's on all places of my life. Like, it's like, even in podcasting, I feel like I'm finding my podcasting voice, and I'm knowing how to come up on here, and I know what I want this space that I am essentially like, the leader of, to feel like and to sound like. And even in life, like, I'm learning how to organize myself to perform the most optimal, and bullet journaling is a big reason why. Another thing, we mentioned it before, I am becoming more financially intelligent. So I'm knowing what to do better with my finances and learning how to like organize them and so on and so forth. Yeah. The next question is going to be important goals that you have met. So what important goals do you have that you have met? For me, I don't have any. I haven't met any of my end of the year goals just yet, but they are all in progress. So things like even completing the Soooo class that I'm taking, podcasting for a whole year. Other goals that I have, like, my savings goal. I wanted to make sure that I gave you and I both the opportunity to be able to look at the goals that we set and just kind of revisit them. And if we have not met them already, and hopefully we have, but if we have not met them already, we are working towards them. And if we do have any goals that we are supposed to be working towards and we haven't started doing that, then, to just remember them and then get to it. The next question is going to be ways that we took care of ourselves so far in the third quarter. How did you take care of yourself this third quarter? What self-care did you do? What ways did you tend to your needs? For me, this third quarter, I did get my nails done, and I don't get my nails done too often. I do kind of do it every quarter, to be honest. So about every 3 months, I get my nails done. My toes are usually always done, but as far as fingernails, I get them done about every quarter. I did a retwist, and yes, if you are not following me on Instagram, yes, I do have actual real locks. I've been locked for about going on 3 years now, and I got my eyes threaded sometime this quarter, and I'm also on this trip, so this is another way that I'm taking care of myself. This quarter I also did get a new therapist, so that's a big one. That's something I did want to note. Now, the next question is, did we make any key purchases? Like, even just as far as purchases and money, like, did we spend our money wisely? Are we saving? Are we on path with our savings goals? Have we looked at all of our subscriptions and made sure that the subscriptions we have are the ones we need? Have we done like a financial audit where we looked at all of the money that we have in like our banks? Do you have a bank? Do you have a credit union? Do you probably need a new credit card? If you don't need a credit card, don't do it. Do you need to close down a card? Do you need to get a credit card? Like, do you need to pay off all of your credit cards? Whatever finances, this is just the time to think about it and maybe write it down that, oh yeah, I do need to do this. Oh yeah, in this time as well, let's think about our car. Yeah, because me right now, my car, she definitely needs some love. She needs a deep cleaning for sure. It also, I think one of the brake lights are out, and it definitely needs servicing, and the tire pressure. So those are even things that I need to account for. But yeah, I made a few key purchases. I think something happened with my car's something in the back exhaust, and that was a big purchase for me. Another key thing was I did buy another laptop this quarter, so that was also another key purchase. The class I'm taking right now was another key purchase. So I just wanted us to kind of think, financially, finance-wise, like, how are we doing? Another question is, what are we grateful for? What are you grateful for? Right now, I'm grateful for my family and for my friends. They are literally probably one of the most important things to me right now. And I'm also grateful for my community, like even just my church, the church that I go to, in my church life. I love it so much, and especially being down here now, like even my routine that I have, I love it. I love the fact that I'm even able to have a routine, and my routine stays pretty constant. So that's a definite blessing in my life. I'm thankful for all of the things that I can afford, even not even monetarily technically, but even just like, I'm happy that I have space to receive love, and I'm happy that I'm able to give out love as well. Like, I don't feel like I'm missing in any facet of life right now, or I'm deficient in any facet of life right now. I feel like everything I do need, I have, and I'm just happy because it's just like I'm growing. It's from growth to growth right now. So that's one thing that I'm definitely grateful for. And what are you grateful for? I hope you're thinking about it. Another question that I wanted to make sure I asked was, how can we improve? So what happened last quarter that we kind of want to change, we kind of want to get better at, we kind of want to improve on. I think for me, one thing I will forever need to improve on is communicating with friends, communicating with family. I can't do it, and I don't know why it's like that. I don't know just why communicating sometimes is so hard for me, but sometimes it is. So I definitely need to get better at communicating. I feel like I do need to sit down with all of my goals again and make sure that I'm attacking all of them to the best of my ability, because I am a very beautiful procrastinator as well. So that's another thing that I do want to improve. I want to improve my procrastinating, because I am a very skilled procrastinator. If I am given the opportunity or the space to procrastinate, I will. And that's one thing that has led to my downfall in many, many areas of my life. And I'm hoping that as I get older, I'm able to weed it out of me. So that's one thing I want to improve on. I want to improve on my attitude to do some certain things. Like, do you ever just do like a check of yourself and you realize, okay, that wasn't good. That's not a good attribute of you. I think that sometimes I can carry a nonchalant attitude about myself that isn't good, and it's not productive. So I want to work on that nonchalantness, and kind of be able to be more empathetic and kind of just be there for people more, even if it's at an inconvenience to myself. Another thing I do want to improve on is, I think I talked about it in another podcast, but it was about me being diligent with small things. And that is something I definitely want to take into the rest of the year. Like, if I'm given something small, I shouldn't treat it like it's small. Like, if I'm given a seed, I don't want to look at the tiny little seed in my hand and be like, this thing is so tiny, and just throw it away. I want to be diligent in taking the seed and putting it into the ground and kind of like covering it up with dirt and allowing the seed to flourish. So really what that means is, like, anything that's going on, any opportunities that I'm given, anywhere I'm able to probably plant a seed, taking it and not disregarding it because maybe my pride, or maybe I'm too shy or too scared. And that's another thing with me. I do get very shy, and sometimes I deal with this thing that's kind of like, you're not good enough or you're not qualified. Kind of shutting that voice in my head and doing things that's a little outside of my comfort zone. So that's one of the ways that I want to improve next quarter for sure. And now we are down to our last question, my dears, and it is, what are your goals for next quarter? Next quarter, I don't know when next quarter ends. We're gonna say that next quarter ends right around my birthday, which is June 25th. So I'm gonna say my goals for next quarter is to definitely become more assertive, definitely not let my fear or procrastination get in the way of like anything that I want to do. I also want to definitely be more solidified in my routine that I have. Also, another thing that I do want to start doing is I do want to start going to the gym. It doesn't matter which way. It's either in Pilates or actually getting a physical trainer and literally showing up to the gym. But whatever way that looks like, I want to do by the next quarter as well. I want to have my Azure certification, you guys. Amen, amen, amen. What else? I also want to make sure that I'm just happy in myself, and that I'm smarter and I'm wiser. And also with my friendships, we're stronger. And one thing I really want to do this summer is make sure that I make time to spend with my friends. Like, and not only, because I feel like sometimes we get into this thing where it's, party, or event, but it's like, what about quality time? So this next quarter, especially with summer and spring coming, I really want to make sure that we just spend quality time with each other and we know each other as people and not as just turn up friends, or recreational activity friends. You feel me? So That's one thing that I'm going to be working on this next quarter. But that is pretty much it, y'all. I really hope that y'all enjoyed that. I don't know. Third quarter report card, third quarter reevaluation. I'm excited for April to come. April showers bring May flowers. So that's going to be so much fun. Thank you guys so much for listening. And also, did you notice? We forgot to ask a question. Did you notice? It is, what have you been praying about? I am thinking about either getting rid of this segment or moving it around to the end. Because I feel like sometimes my intro and then 2 segments before like what we actually talk about might be a little too cumbersome. So maybe like I talk about what we're snacking on, then do what I want to talk about, and then do what are we praying on at the end. Kind of leave y'all with that. So what are we praying for? I'm praying for growth, and not only physical growth, but also mental growth. Like, you guys, I want to be wise. I don't want to be smart. I don't want to be knowledgeable. I want to be wise. That's what I'm praying for. I really, like, especially in my friends now and this like stage of life that we're kind of going through, everyone's making big decisions, everyone's contemplating their lives, everyone's thinking like, why is my life like this and not like this? And people are asking people who are going through the exact same thing questions. And personally, I don't think that like someone your age should be the person that gives you advice, because they are not far from that advice from themselves, if that makes sense. Like they haven't seen the fruit. Like, first off, either they haven't seen whatever you're asking them for advice, they haven't seen the fruit of it before, and they haven't seen it in their life. So like, how can they really even tell you that this thing that you're doing is the right decision? If you're walking a journey, how do you know the end of your journey is going to lead to rainbows if you haven't reached the end? That's kind of how I see it. Like, or also like your friends haven't reached the end of that journey either. So how do you know that their journey is going to lead to rainbows as well? So I just don't take advice from people that are my age, because like, y'all ain't there yet. So how are you going to tell me? But people still ask for advice. People still want to know what to do. And I want wisdom. Like, I want to be able to properly and maturely navigate difficult life decisions without being a bad influence. I don't know. I just want wisdom, you guys. But yeah, y'all. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. So it is time to clear off the table and wash the dishes again. My name is Fikayo. Please like, comment, subscribe. Honestly, I know you guys can't do that on a podcast, but it's the YouTube thing. Like, it's the first thing in my head. Please like, rate and all of those things, and follow me and all of those things as well. I really appreciate it. Again, if you want to see the face behind the voice, go on my Instagram at Fikayo, Fikayo, and follow me and let me know that you've listened to my podcast and you're coming from my podcast. Oh my goodness, because I am getting followers, but I don't know where they're coming from. So I do wonder if people are like stumbling across this podcast and they're seeing me and they're intrigued by me. And then that way as well, I know that you're not like some type of creep, that's following me. So I can follow you back, of course. But yeah, y'all, I think that is all I have. I love you guys so much, and please do not forget to laugh really loud and pray all the time. Bye.